Welcome to part 2 of Am I Depressed?
And it gave me time to see the people around me prove my own thoughts or beliefs wrong. A lot of my friends showed up for me during this time in a way that I didn't expect it. And I feel like more than any other time in my life, I feel loved and I feel supported.
You are loved, sweetie. Because you just got through talking about how we draw into our lives the things that we believe in inside ourselves. And you have love in you, Anna. You have love in you. I feel it. Even in the moments where you broke down and crying, I feel it. And so you can do nothing else but draw that love to you. But what I want all of us to take away from this is that she had to try. Okay? She had to try. And she made the empowering decision that she was going to let them in, to clue them in. She made the empowering decision. She wasn't going to shut them out. Okay? She wasn't going to shut them out. Story time. Let me see, I got to do this so that nobody can know what the heck I'm talking about. So let's just say that I have a friend whose daughter is going through some domestic violence stuff. And apparently there's some substance issues in there. Her daughter's mindset is not strong right now. And so she trusted me. Her mother trusted me enough to let me know what was going on. Haven't told her daughter. I'm calling Linda. So it's not like this is behind her back or anything. And then I went to trying to contact this girl. I made phone calls. She didn't answer. She texted me right back. I'm this, I'm that, so I can't talk right now. Can we talk tomorrow? Then we don't talk tomorrow. And she's putting me off and putting me off, okay? So at some point, I had to tell her. She said, why am I like this? She texted me, something like, why am I like this? Why am I feeling these things? Why am I in this situation? And I just wrote her back, you got to quit shutting us out. Quit shutting us out. Because you're over there, you're in a bad situation, you're not making good choices for yourself. And every time someone who truly loves you comes into the picture, you shut us out. You got to quit shutting us out. And as long as she keeps shutting out the people who care about her, she will probably just stay stuck in this domestic violence situation that ain't looking good. But now I'm stuck here. What do? Grown woman, I can't force her. What Anna did was she made the empowering decision that she was going to let her team, she let her best friend know how bad she was as far as her depression taking over. But then other people just began to show up for her. Now, she could have pushed them away and probably kept believing the wrong crap about herself and how people feel about her. But she made the empowering decision to let them in. And look what it did. It helped her to get a better perspective. In another video that I did, I talk about the narcissist. Look up the narcissist one. I'll put the thing over here, over there, somewhere. I'll put the thumbprint up about that narcissist thing. And in it, I told you guys that if the narcissist is an abuser, and I don't know, there's so many degrees of narcissism, they might not even hit you. They're always putting you through psychological trauma anyway. But what some of them do, and especially if you're in a domestic violence type of situation, they're going to isolate you from your family. They're going to isolate you from your friends. And you're going to be isolated from any and everybody that the narcissist or abuser knows they cannot use or convert into they flying monkeys. And I'll just have to make another video about flying monkeys down the line. Some of y'all already know. Okay? And when they isolate you, what does that do? That makes the ground on which you're standing innavigable. You can't get a good footing because you're being gaslit, lied to, talked down to, period, and you can't get a good footing. Why? Because you've been isolated from truth. Okay? So let's get back to Anna and see what else she had to say.
One thing I always tell myself is that life is made up of waves. We have sound waves, we have light waves. Everything's kind of in waves, and I believe the goods and bads of life are also in many ways like a wave. You have your ups and downs, and if you have a really low down, it's because you're having a really great up coming your way. And so one of the things that did get me through all of this was to keep believing that, even when it was hard, that if things were getting worse or more challenging or more difficult, that it just meant whatever was coming down the road was so exciting and so big that I had to really be at rock bottom to fully appreciate the high that was coming.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in psychology, we call that reframing. And generally, we can't reframe on our own when we're in the depths of a depression and thinking all of this hopelessness taking over our heads. But what she did was she reframed it. So what she basically did, she didn't gaslight herself. She didn't tell herself no stinking lies. She decided that in that hellhole of depression, she had to believe in something better. She had to have some kind of hope. And the way that she held on to hope was to know that things have got to get better. I mean, this so bad right here, there's no place else to go but up. And when you're going through a grief process, which takes forever, I mean, it might take forever, your only thing is you want to always remember to ride those waves. Because it's going to come in and out. You're going to have some days where you're doing great, and then the next day you might be just thrown for a loop with this grief. It's in and out. It's not linear. And so when you're going through a grief process, you have to look at it as waves and trust that at the end of that ride, you feel like you're out there on them waves without a surfboard, okay? But you got to trust it's going to gently, at the end of the ride, it's going to gently deposit you back on shore. And in order to get through some of those waves, now don't get me wrong, Anna's got a lot of process left in her grief process over her grandfather. I'll give you that. But she got the right perspective. Everything this woman is saying comes from a position of empowerment. A position of empowerment. So when we are, I'll be honest with you, as a depression survivor, it took me years of going through the crap to realize, oh, wait a minute, that pit bull that keeps nipping at my heels, that's depression all these years? Yeah, duh. Okay? I had to recognize that when I was in the depths of a depressive episode, that I was incapable of hope. So that sounds simple to y'all, right? I ain't mad at you. Okay, it sounds simple. It was a game changer for me because when I'm in the depths of that, when depression takes over you deeply like that, you're pretty much incapable of a hopeful thought unless you got some tools to make you, like Anna did, make you see a better perspective. Depending on how much of a grip you're in, you may not be incapable in that moment of a hopeful thought. And so when I was in that despair, one day I recognized, okay, so this is how you feel in here. This is how you think in here. What you got to know is in this moment, you are incapable of a hopeful thought. And it was freeing to me because then on some deeper level for me, what that told me was, so you ain't seeing no truth right now. I know that's a big leap, but that's what it did for me. And it would help me not to get as hopeless as I wanted to get. Let's get back to Ann. I'm talking too much. See what she's got to say next.
I will say that I do not believe I have general depression. I believe this was situational, which is often common with loss. I have been mildly depressed before when my mother and sister passed away. So I knew that this might happen, but it just hit a lot harder this time.
Yep, it hit a lot harder this time because it was re-traumatization. But what I do want to say is there's no clinical term called general depression. There are situations where situational depression can occur, and it happens a lot of times with loss and grief. What I want you to take away from this whole darn section is please see a doctor, because some physical ailments can be look similar to depression. Okay? And if you got something going on in your body that needs to be addressed medically, then you need to go do that. Don't try to self-diagnose. Okay? Find you a physician that you can go to put you through the necessary tests to determine whether or not the depression is masking some other physical problem. Okay? The other thing that I'm going to tell you is that if you find yourself in and out of depression, or you're in an elongated period of depression, I'll do a separate video on depression, because to go a little bit more in depth, go to your primary care physician. Get to a doctor. You are not going to feel like dragging yourself out the house. Trust you me, I have been there and done that. But you must seek help, okay? Because we don't want to determine whether this is situational or not. Is it physical or not? We need help. I mean, I myself have been on psychotropics before, and they would be a help to me. So basically how this works when we're as therapists is generally that we will not begin treatment until the client is stabilized. So say we put you through a process, diagnostic process, and determine that you have a major depressive episode. Yes, we do need to do psychotherapy, okay? But we need to get you stabilized first, which means that when you're put on a antidepressive, then you go on, you take it regularly like you're supposed to over a period of time, and it's usually 3 to 4 weeks before you really stabilize on that medicine. So if you're taking antidepressives, don't choose to take one today, not take one tomorrow, or be consistent with it this week and not next week. Take it for a month, decide I don't need it no more. You cannot keep doing that, please, because psychotropic drugs are not like taking an aspirin and your headache go away within an hour. They must be consistently taken according to your doctor's directions over a period of time for you to see that. Now, say you do it for a whole month and you begin, it's taking over, it's helping you, and then you decide next month, I ain't feeling like it. Well, of course you ain't. You're feeling better, duh. You can't just do that, because once you go off of that, you got to start all over again with getting it in your system. So 2 things: go to the doctor, make sure that it's not masking or being some other ailment is trying to present as depression. Take your meds as instructed by a doctor, and don't just stay depressed, seek help. I'm leaving you a hotline number at the end of this so that you can do so. Back to Anna.
I do feel better now, and I don't have a magic cure for how that happened other than a really great support network. And honestly, parents who really showed up for me. Shout out to Dad and Sherry.
You go, girl. I don't have anything else to add to that. Next.
I've talked about this health journey on this channel, and it's like I have to be honest about the things that happened. I totally 100% did not achieve any of my goals or even maintain any of my goals really through this period. I did maintain my move goal on my Apple Watch, and it was actually one of my low points, because at one point I'd be like, at least I'm hitting my step goal every day. At least I'm doing that. And then my watch died, and so I lost my perfect working out every day or reaching my move goal every day that I had started literally before January. And it was like gut-wrenching to me, because it felt like everything, at that point, everything was a failure. And it's something small, but when you're in that dark place, those small things, they just screw you up so much harder than you could ever think they would.
Absolutely. Only thing I want to add to what she said there is that you could see that thread of hope, that thread of empowerment. At least I'm meeting my step goal. She could find something hopeful, something she was doing right in the whole time that she was going through this. That's powerful, Anna. That's powerful. But you were not a failure. I'll save that to the end because I do have a special message for you.
And I'm just grateful now that I'm on the other side of it, even though I've totally freaking failed. Like I totally failed and so like I totally let so many things go, right? I did not calorie count. I ate crap. I ate a lot of crap. I cried over a sheet cake. I'm not gonna pretend like that didn't happen. I 100% bought a sheet cake and cried over it. And I just feel like I'm not upset at myself for that, which is weird. Maybe I should be. Maybe I should be disappointed that I didn't reach my health goals or whatever. But it's like at that point in time, it was about survival, right? And like literally it was about finding the urge to like get up and do anything.
There it is. There it is, you guys. That's what I'm talking about. Please, first of all, Anna, you were not a failure in any way. Period. Okay? You were not a failure. And this is what I want the takeaway to be for all of us trauma survivors, you guys. I want us to understand that when we set goals, you don't set a goal without acknowledging that something could come along and change that plan. And if you bake that into the formula, then you can proactively ahead of time determine, okay, so what am I going to do on the days or the weeks or the month when some crap flies in my face and I can't keep my goals? I can't do the steps I've been doing. What we do when we bake the back plan or the game plan, or what we're going to do in case that things don't go the way we plan, is that then we eliminate the whole thing about feeling like a failure or feeling like that we lost ground. Anna didn't lose any dadgum ground, okay? She knew the whole time, oh man, I'm just not feeling this. I'm going to eat this thing. And then she came to the conclusion, and rightfully so, the whole deal is as long as I survive this crap, I am not a failure. Okay? So when you set your goals, whether they're physical goals, career goals, whatever, then you break that down into smaller incremental steps to get you there. But at each smaller incremental step level, you want to determine, well, how am I going to address it if or when, because it's going to happen, something makes it so that I can't do this step in this goal progression. And when you go to each step and you know that, okay, if something comes up, because we're humans and the crap's going to come up, whatever, you ain't going to feel like it one day, then what are you going to do in that moment so that you can proactively make adjustments to your steps, adjustments to your goal, or just bake in days that you're not even going to pay attention to it. Like for me, I'm going to have a cheat day. So some people can say I'm going to have a cheat day once a month. Not the kid. I'm having a cheat day every freaking week. Because I know I'm a lover of sweets. And the only alternative is not to allow them in the house. And I'm tired of living like that. So you just understand your limitations, and stuff's going to come up, y'all. So rather than sit up and beat ourselves up when it does, let's just have a game plan. Let's see what else Anna's talking about.
But I made it through. I made it through. Life got a little bit better. And I am now beginning to see that rise happening. And I would say the things that got me through this experience were never being afraid to call someone. On the days I felt really crappy, I just sometimes called someone because I couldn't bear leaving or going anywhere. And sometimes a shower, as labor intensive as it might seem, can change your entire mood. Sometimes it's about going somewhere. Sometimes it's just being ready for the opportunity should it present itself.
Amen. 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 Ooh, me. Look, y'all, I went through depression one time. I wasn't bathing. I wasn't combing my hair. I wasn't answering the phone. I wasn't eating. I mean, it's a real struggle, y'all. So for her to say, well, sometime my goal be just get up, take a shower, and act like I'm going to go somewhere. I ain't mad at you, Anna. Let's see what else is going on here.
I think it just goes to show that it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Life is unexpected. So the best you can do is try to make it through, and however that looks for you, and not focus on the fact that you failed through that process and maybe some of your goals, but focus instead on the fact that you made it through.
Amen. Survival is the goal, boy. Nothing else to say there. Next, let's go to her next clip.
Where I too want to be in the position where it's not about me, where I'm finding ways to take this and what I do to help and empower others and change the world. And that's always been what it's about. But I think I've just felt helpless figuring it out. And this depression, oddly enough, kind of inspired me. So as terrible as it was, I'm on the mend. I made it through, and good things to come.
Amen. Look, you are already doing that. You are already doing that. And look, you have been so transparent in this journey. And I know that you've taken the brunt of a lot of trolls. Talking about you here, talking about you there. You ain't making no progress. Look, the truth of the matter is they don't matter. They do not matter. What matters is your focus, and you seem to be keeping that so well. I am so proud of you. I'm telling you, you're the second Austin lady that I've done a reaction video on. Austin must be kicking out some strong butt women because you are one of those women. This is what I want you to know. Now, there's a lot of stuff more that I want to say to you, but those things are some things that I need to talk to you in private about. I'm not going to put them on this public forum. So hopefully we'll get a chance to speak. But what I want to do is to encourage you to keep fighting your fears. That fear of going to a doctor, you're going to have to overcome that. I see you making moves toward that. You're making moves, sweetie. Keep that in your forefront. You have got to do that. Look, and understand how your history has fed that fear. Okay? Number two, what you are doing right now as you're walking through the painful moments is that you are in your calling. You are in your calling. You're right there. For you to be so courageous that you are putting yourself out to just laying yourself bare for those people whose lives you are not only changing, but you're saving. It's massive. It's massive. You're already there. Like you said, I don't want this to be about me. This has got to be about all of the people that I can take revenge on my past by helping. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're doing what I call making it count. You're making it count. Whatever the heck is you went through as a child, the pain you've borne in your soul to this date, you're making decisions to be well. Your wellness you're taking into your own hands. You're doing so many empowering things even through the pain. And you're doing it because your focus is selfless. Selfless. Okay? Look, after this video, the other day, just today or yesterday, I watched your follow-up. You remember that lady that you met in the airport? Please, this is what I want you to know. That's one person who was blessed enough to run across your path and be able to look you in your eye and tell you how you changed their life. You got to multiply that by many, many more. And you may never know all of the lives you've saved, all of the lives you changed. You may never know all of that, but you stay focused. You keep doing what you're doing, girl, because I love you. I love you. I love your spirit. You got a sweet spirit. I'm getting so much strength out of you. And this I will say before I let you go. You remember your trip to Hawaii And how you felt like, oh, I'm holding them up. I'm holding them up. That's coming out the past. That's trauma talking, please. Let me tell you something about yourself, girlfriend. Remember the one where you said that you just only walked halfway up? The whole time, the first climb, you know, where you got up there after everybody. And I think it was another climb after that. You got up there after everybody, okay? Look, girlfriend, I couldn't have made it a quarter of the way up. You don't get it. You don't get it. I do not understand how you have so much power in yourself. You got a strong mind, and you were kicking butt climbing them stairs. Don't you let anybody tell you any different. You had set your goal that you were going to climb to the top after 2 days of hiking and just putting your muscles through stuff they should have never gone through. Look, you need to get a personal trainer that can stop your butt when you get ready to push yourself too far. Okay? I don't know, girlfriend. To me, you was kicking butt and didn't have no time to take no names behind it. Basically, you did a lot better than I could have done on the first walk. And I'd have been out for the count on the second walk and ain't never going to show up to that third one climbing them stairs. Girl, you are power personified. And don't you ever forget it. Okay. Meanwhile, you guys, this has gone on long enough. If you made it to the end, I'm proud of you. Always remember, you know what I'm going to say? You can say it with me. Always remember your greatest power is realizing the truth of who you are. Know that truth. Hey, if you like what you see here today, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you know when we upload, and like and share the video. Thanks.